Hello everyone, welcome back to ABI-DOS. I'm sort of lost track of where we were last time. I guess we just finished Pair, and we're moving on to, that's right, Color Test 3. I remember seeing that and being... I also did some playing around in the sandbox at the end of the last episode to experiment with how some stuff we haven't done yet works. But okay, here we are. Color Test 3. This program partially restores corrupted images with missing information. Ooh. A sequence of RGB pixels, but many gaps between them. Ah, challenge mode is unlocked. Interesting. Oh, pixels are 170. I remember before thinking like it was 180. If a pixel is missing, just transmit the most recent pixel color. Okay. Challenge mode, the flag to the right of the toolbox. This stuff? I see. So yeah, you can turn off tooltips. No thanks. Pointers coordinates? I don't think I care about that. Icons when drawing? Oh, these are icons and this is drawing, I think. Yeah, see, now they don't gray out when I'm drawing. Okay, I mean, I think the default setting for that seemed fine. Alright. So we have to, like... What is this? So this pixel is a 0, is that right? That, like, this doesn't mean there's no input. It means it's a neutral U-bit with value 0. Yeah. So when we... Yeah, okay. We need to maintain, like, what the last thing we output was, basically. So... Okay, I need an obstructor. Connected to the output. I want, basically, anytime I output something, I want to write that into the obstructor, or is that what it's called? Yeah, the obstructor as well. I want to, like, duplicate a copy and send it in. So... I was thinking of something like this, right? Like where we send something out and immediately we go back in here. And of course this is set to -1 to hold indefinitely. Does that, like, work? I go to output, I send something to this. It doesn't work. Well, I mean, it sort of does. The problem is, if we have something in the obstructor and we get a new pixel, we need to release the thing from the obstructor and, like, delete it. Not output it, not add to it. Not combine colors with it, but, like, remove it. So... Another thing we could use I don't think it's going to be the cleanest solution this time, is like... Do we not have like a... I'm surprised there isn't a colorizer that you can write to. But I guess there isn't. So we couldn't like just save the information in an icon. We have to save it in a U-bit. Now, in principle, I think we... No, right. If we could write to a colorizer, we could, like, save the color of the thing as a number somewhere and then use that number to write to a colorizer. But we can't do that. We have to save a U-bit and make a copy of it to output, I think. So... if we have a U-bit saved in the obstructor, we need to sometimes be able to release it and output it and copy it again, and sometimes release it and recycle it. So we need a conveyor to let us control where the U-bit released from the obstructor goes. So I guess it looks more like this, right? Where the default state is off, I suppose. And if we start with a okay, let's see. Let's put. I'm not. This solution is not really trying yet, anyway, to be fast or compete on the leaderboards at all. Just try to get something that makes sense. So when we output something for any reason, we first request another input. And if we have a color sensor here, and we want it to sense neutral. Presumably the input can't start with a neutral, right? Right. Out of curiosity, what is the challenge mode? Okay, I don't understand. I know, like you were saying, fit within the area. But how could you have a non-contiguous area? Do you mean only put icons in these sections and have wires in between? Clearly I'm not going to accomplish this goal, but I don't even understand what the goal is. Okay, whatever. So this challenge mode is maybe a kind of hint at a more efficient way to do things, in addition to being a challenge. So if we detect a neutral, we should release something from here. While this is off. Which is its default. Okay, maybe I actually want the default to be the other way. So if this detects... So I'm imagining like this. If we detect a neutral, turn this conveyor off, saying, please release a U-bit and also send one back in to the thing. Send a copy of it back in, right? Otherwise, send the existing bit. Well, otherwise, it must be a different color, and we still need to release this. But we want this conveyor to be on. So I need, I guess, to have another conveyor here. These are always, yeah, okay. That's controlled by this. To delete the bit that we're currently processing, basically. So if it's... Oh, I guess I can put it here, right? I don't want to, though. What am I doing? So if this is neutral, then turn on this conveyor that's going to recycle it, right? Like so. Like so. Otherwise, if this didn't activate this, then what we're looking at is a non-neutral bit. Therefore, it is some other color. Where's my universal sensor? We haven't used one yet, but it's around here somewhere. This. No. Yeah, that looks better. So when something gets here, we turn on this thing saying release your bit, but we don't turn this off. So this ships the old bit that was there to the recycler. And then this one carries on to the exit. At a first guess, this is something I could believe might be correct. I'm sure there are numerous issues with it, but let's see what happens. So we requested a bit. It is not neutral colored. So we are hopefully not recycling this. This was asked to emit something, but it couldn't. This is still on, which troubles me. Should I run blue wire to here as well? I'm not sure. Why did that not do what I expected? Rather than trying to understand the problem, I'll just put some blue wire here and see what happens. Not right. So... but it was closer in a way, right? This getting here releases this. I wonder if I just want an A sensor here to say, okay, like, or there are some variants of this that like entered only for one tick, and I don't remember how these, where these were. And I don't really understand how they work anyway. It was conveyor A and B, yeah. So B is on. State B, if it's triggered, enter state B for just one cycle. Yeah, I don't understand how to use this yet. But like, what if I just chucked one of these in, eh? What do you think about them apples? Like so. To briefly turn this on. No, turn this off so the thing can escape. Wait. Yeah, that just got deleted. That doesn't make any sense. So that goes through there. That's all lovely. I guess my issue is I don't have anything that turns this back into trap mode, into like A mode. Is that true? It turns back into A mode when kind of like there's no reverse. When I send a colored bit through here. Then this goes back to A, i.e. on. So that gets sent out. That's what I want. Whoa! Right. I don't need this colored bit if I'm sending a copy of something out anyway. Hang on. Oh, when, no. When I get a colored bit, I just want to delete what's here, right? I don't want it to get to the output. And that's what this was supposed to do. Whereas it seems like what I've accomplished with this wiring is exactly the opposite. Don't I want this? It enters state A to say, please flush the thing that was there, and then B to let me back in. Oh, but I need... Something didn't quite work the way I wanted. So we got in there. This isn't colored. I need to release this one, though. So I turned this on as expected. So I think I need this thing's B state. I need the A and B states reversed, kind of. But then I think this wire is wrong. Right? So if I detect something colorless, I'm deleting this. Yeah, this is not correct. So I need to, like, send a B to this while I send an A to this. And, like, look, that's possible. It just doesn't seem very pretty. Like, if I just had a little bit more space, I could do something like that, I think. I don't want these connecting, actually. Don't I have to do these in the other order? I'm not sure. Let's see. It's not finished yet, but I just want to see if I have the first part of this right. Oh, I won't be able to test that because this gets deleted. Great. I have to do the whole thing. Okay. And then I want to send a B back to this when I'm done, I think. So like here, right as we're about to come in. Okay, so we're at least handling the steady state of actual colored bits correctly for the first time. We're able to copy the input to the output. Incredible. So here comes the only interesting part of this whole problem, the 0. We could put a breakpoint here, by the way. Okay, whatever. So we got a 0. We released this. Ah, no, stop. I just wanted the step. Oh, it's actually too soon to request another bit, isn't it? So, there. That's my breakpoint. Run. So we got our 0. We deleted it. We output the other 170, the other blue. And we got here just, actually this might be right. Just as this is coming in, are we going to get this released in time or not? We are. Okay, so that actually looks great. The timing is just perfect, aside from, you know, being atrocious. So the blue is being purged. Okay, I mean, this looks correct. Obviously, it could be tidier. I really don't like the wiring up of this conveyor, like the whole interesting part of the program, this conveyor and this obstructor. But you know what? I don't want to obsess over it. I just want to declare victory, so that's what I'm going to do. And, I mean, 48th percentile. Slightly below the average, but not insane. I'm doing fine on the other things. Great. I can tell myself that that's a success. Amplifier. This program conditionally amplifies the content of signal. Begin by transmitting S1 to S5, but when S0 sends a pulse of 20 or greater, increase the value of S1 by 20 before transmitting it. For current and subsequent horizontal segments? Then when you get a new pulse of 20 or greater, go back to emitting the signal as is. I see. Well... Okay, so I don't totally understand. S0, okay. S1 is being emitted. But whenever we get a large S0, until the next large S0, we should output a bigger S1. But every time we output something, we should consume 1 bit from each input. The base value from S1 and information about whether it should be amplified or not from S0. Okay. So what about these writers, eh? Because we could store the information of like what we need to add in a U-bit. Like have a 20 or whatever, right? But we could also just have an adder that we put a 20 in with a writer. Now the writers only go up to 9. So that's not ideal. This writer can write any value, but you need a U-bit to carry that value, right? So we could put 20 into a U-bit. And then write that value into an adder that S1 will pass through. And that way we don't have to persist any U-bits in between input bits. But then it gets hard because I have to say, like, then how do I say, oh, okay, well, since the value currently in this writer or adder or whatever is 20, then next time I get a large enough U-bit, actually I want to replace that value with 0 instead of replacing it with 20. It's not so easy. Maybe just keeping a U-bit hanging around in the system is better. I could have an adder of 20 that's just lying around all the time and use a conveyor belt with a signal to route U-bits through it or around it. But well, actually, how do you even, like, how could you write a sensor to say, like, toggle the activeness of a belt? You just have, like, go to state A or go to state B. You don't have, like, if you're in state A, go to B and vice versa. As far as I know. We have this negator. So if we had a U-bit, I mean, yeah, this makes sense. If we had a U-bit that were always 0 or 1, we could emit a duplicate of it every time we see an input, multiply it by 20, and add it to the output, right? And depending on what we read from S0, we can route that control signal through a negator or not on its way back through the loop. Like, we duplicate the control U-bit every time we get an input. But depending on what S0 is, we either, I guess before duplicating it, we would either negate it or not. So I think I want one of these ports to give me a U-bit that starts at 0. Which it's hard to, like, keep the routing straight in my head of where this stuff is going to go, but I imagine it going in a loop that has, like, 2 ways to go, something like this, where we, like, duplicate it on the way out, And we can send it home either to the right, which involves a negator, or to the left, which doesn't, or something like that. Now this doesn't work because you have to actually, well, maybe it does work. I just have to do it this way. Okay. I need the duplication to kind of come off at an angle so that it can go duplicated in one way to the output, but then the natural direction of the qubit to continue in is going straight. Maybe more like that. So that I can use a conveyor here, sort of, right? Yeah, see, this is still wrong. Well, no, it's not. Is it? I need... something like this? This is kind of an ugly loop, but it makes a certain sort of sense, I think. Where, like... oh, this still isn't right. Is it? Maybe I can make this work. Where, like... No, this doesn't work. Well, I guess if I put the thing here with a negator on this part. Then, yeah, this is a loop that optionally goes through a negator and is duplicated outward after that. Controlled by this conveyor. I'm sure you could do this much more efficiently somehow, but I think this loop is the right general shape. How do these ports work again? It's triggerable, but we're never going to trigger it. So just put it here or something. And we're kind of in a throughput of 1 qubit every 9 ticks this way. It seems to me like you should be able to do it every 1 tick if you were smarter than I am. But I don't know how. So I think then we would want our well, the qubits are just going to add naturally when they get here, right? The thing is, I guess this is, so what's the deal with synchronizers? We haven't seen those yet. No, that's a less than sensor. This one is a synchronizer. Stop it until at least X other synchronizers are touched. That's kind of interesting. So I could sync things up and not worry about exact cycles. Or I could just have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like this is fewer icons but more space to make sure that when we request a new thing, it's like 9 things away. And probably it actually needs to be 8 or something. I don't know, because we're starting in the middle of this loop. In fact, like, why not start here? Oh, maybe it would be weird if I did that? I don't know. Let's leave it here for now. I don't really know what's right. Synchronizers are probably the way to go. The other thing we could do is, instead of having just a big long wire, we could have an obstructor with a fixed delay to make things line up. It seems like a synchronizer is actually a really nice way to go, right? So let's try out that tool that's just been given to us for the first time. We would have to put it like here, and then that to make sure they're both the same distance from here. Where's my request input? Here it is. You could probably put it there, right? Oh, we're gonna have to be careful where we put it because actually, are we? Isn't the point of the synchronizers that we don't have to be careful? I think so. As long as we're within a reasonable margin, this should be fine. So this just goes to a sensor that checks less than, and then to a recycler. Or greater than, I guess. So this says 20 or greater? Yeah. So if it's greater than 19, we need to turn this on. So its default state should be off. Right? I mean, this looks interesting. Let's see if this is close to being anything. So we left this off. We're not boosting the signal. That seems correct. This is waiting until we get here. Then they both go. And we output an 18. Now this 20 has turned this on, or this 34 has turned this on. So the 20 that's waiting there is going to meet another 20, hopefully. That gets sent over here. Turns into a 1. They release. Turns into a 20. They get added. They're a 40. This looks correct. Yeah. I mean, not bad. I think you could do it in fewer cycles, for sure, by having a smaller loop here, but I couldn't see how to route it? I don't know. I think you should also be able to put this at least 1 tick closer, right? That'll save us a tick. Not for each input, but for each test case. Yeah, I'm happy enough with this. Let's see how bad the leaderboards are. Not great, but, you know, it is what it is, as they say. Out of curiosity. We're pretty close to that, actually. We're not there. And I don't really see how I could get there. Okay, yeah, forget that. Oh, let's go back and look at some of these early puzzles and see if they had like a challenge mode, right? Yeah, see, I don't understand this. What is this, like... How could you have it non-touching, right? Well... I guess maybe the idea would be to have... Yeah, that's kind of funny, actually. If we don't request U-bits as part of this process, but as a separate process, we start with a port that just gets inputs. And then this U-bit bounces back and forth. This will reduce our throughput, because we're only getting an input once every 2 ticks instead of every 1 tick. But it does fit into a smaller space. Interesting. So, cycle's very bad, and that explains how some people were over here. It's bad on space, it's bad on icons, it's bad on everything. But it meets the challenge constraints. Interesting. What about this one? What were we even doing here? Adding 2 of them? Oh. Is that the goal? Add them and send the result out. Well, why can't I just do this? I can. Cute. Tied for my best cycles, yeah, because our throughput is 1 bit per tick, basically, right? It's as good as the other solution. Neat. Oh, and it puts a little bookmark on it. That's nice. Okay, well, maybe tomorrow we'll go through some more of these, but I don't have my timer handy, but I suspect we've been going for a while. Yeah, 15 minutes. Time for a break. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.